Herbal stories are a super fun way to get your kids interested in herbalism. Here's one that I made up when my daughter was young. It's called Hawthorne and Crow. Once upon a time, when the very first hawthorn tree was very, very young, he made friends with an old crow. Old Crow was very old, and he didn't move very quickly anymore. But Hawthorne had wonderful berries that were very nutritious, and so Old Crow loved to live in the young hawthorn tree. And Old Crow told Hawthorne many stories about the world. One day, a flock of young crows came and started gobbling up all of Hawthorne's berries. And Old Crow was hardly able to get any at all because he couldn't move very quickly anymore. But Hawthorne was sad. Hawthorne said, "This isn't fair. That's not an appropriate way to treat our elders." And Hawthorne took his love for Old Crow and he pushed and pushed through his branches until thorns appeared. And the thorns made it very hard for the young crows to snatch up all the berries because they moved too quickly and too carelessly, and so the thorns pricked at their feathers. But Old Crow, who didn't move very quickly and was able to calmly move in between the large thorns, was able to eat the hawthorn berries slowly, like an Old Crow does. And Hawthorne and Old Crow were friends for many more years, and there were always enough berries for Old Crow to eat. You can come up with herbal stories, either by yourself and tell them to your children, or even more fun, you and your children can make up the stories together. You can start off something like this. When you have a pot of tea ready and you're ready to sit down together, you can say, "This tea is chamomile. And I learned in my herbal lessons that chamomile can help you to stay calm when you're feeling tense. Let's taste it and see if it's true." And then after you taste it, you can say something like, "I wonder what the story of chamomile is. I wonder who found out that chamomile can help you stay calm." And then together, you and your children can invent the story of chamomile. And then you can even write them down and draw pictures to go with them. You could come up with whole books of stories that go with each herb. And you could have characters that show up again and again in the stories, or maybe each story has new characters all of its own. It is a fantastic way to share creativity and fantasy and imagination with your children, and also to share some of the things that you're learning about the plant.